Hello and welcome to the show. I am here today on automation with a little bit of a challenge. I am going to try and build the best, worst sports car possible. The aim of the game in this is the engine for the car, every single setting must be at -15 in terms of quality. Now that'll make the engine cheap to produce, but pretty garbage. Now the actual car itself, things like chassis, suspension, all those things, they are allowed to be at the default level of quality. The reason being, incidentally, if you put those to -15, the car is so unsafe it'll have a massive penalty and you won't be able to sell it anywhere whatsoever. So I'm allowing the actual kind of vehicle chassis to be normal. The engine is going to be garbage. And I'm still going to try and keep the chassis, I'm going to try and keep the vehicle fairly cheap overall, so it's going to be very, very cheap. I'm going to try and engineer some form of a sports car. Now, I have set the model year to 1975 to give the vehicle a chance of perhaps selling, and it limits the tech and whatnot that I have available to me. So, let's get going. I'm going to go for the Starion style body, something I don't think I've worked with this car before. If I have, it's been a long time since I have. So we're going to have a go with the Starion. Shall we go for, I guess, just steel? Really, we will make it as nice and cheap as possible, nice as basic as possible in here. We're for a longitudinal engine. Now we do want some sportiness. We're not, of course, going to go for the full-on double wishbone suspension. But we do want some form of sportiness, so the solid axle coil seems like a good way to go. Now, the engines. We could have an inline engine, we could have a boxer engine, we're not going to though, because we're going to want to try and get a big V8, I think, is what we're going to want. We're going to want to try and get a fairly sizable V8. At the end of the day, when we are going to be so restricted on, well, what the engine can do, I think we're going to want almost as bigger a V8 as we can. I am a little concerned about the RPM. Now, we're not going to be revving this engine high whatsoever. For some reason I don't want to scroll up. But the pistons might have issues. So I'm going to go for a 5 litre. We might have to come and change that. We'll see. It'll be a play around and see what happens. We're going to go for a push rod engine. It's all going to be a big iron block that we have got here. Now, we could have a flat plane crank, we're not going to. Far too fancy. We have a cast iron. We might have to go heavy duty cast, thinking about it, although we'll see how, we'll stick cast for now. I might have to come back to that, because, I mean, if we can't get RPM, which we can't, we might have to try and get some torque, which we can't either at the moment, so we will see. Oh, I forgot to go and put all of that. I've got to remember now to put these all the way down to -15. Of course, all of that stuff there will be tinkered. I mean, it might be tinkered, more likely to be tinkered with later on. I can English, honestly. Not going to be an injected engine. We might go for a 2-barrel. We might come back, if I'm trying to get a little bit more power out of the car, we might go for a slightly better carburetor. It's not an amazing slightly better carburetor, but we'll see what we can do. Standard intake. I guess we will run the vehicle on regular leaded? Sure, we'll put it on that. Don't really know. And then we will have potentially garbage exhaust. We can have 2 of them though, that's at least something. Then none. Right, okay. The engine falls apart and it RPM's way too high. Right, okay, well, I mean, to be fair, I did initially fear it was going to be worse than 140 horsepower. Oh, wow, okay, so the pistons can go to about 3,000 RPM before they entirely give up. What can we do? What can we get in terms of power? I mean, it actually does reckon we could get around 150. So far, we're at 150 horsepower. The emissions are immeasurable. The emissions are utterly immeasurable. That's how bad it's got. That's quite impressive. I'm kind of quite impressed with all of that. I'm kind of quite impressed. Now, can I do anything about the, I guess, what happens if we were to, no, what happens, let's go back over here. What if we were to, so if we were to make, so we can make the end, so yeah, if we make the engine smaller, make the stroke smaller, we might survive. but of course we are now just down in terms of power. I mean, we'll make that as big as we can. There's kind of no real problem with us making that as large as possible. Maybe if we just go for just go for torque now. We're gonna have a 6-litre V8 that makes 180 horsepower. Unfortunately, the problem with that is we've still got far too many RPMs. Let's just bring that down again. 5.5 litres probably going to have to do here. Okay. Tis not great, is it? Tis not great. Again, this was the point, though. The point was it was going to be a pretty garbage engine. Can I... so we get any further up... The problem is we get any further up on the cam profile. There probably would be more power available to it, but we just can't use it. Because the power is just too far into that power band. We are very much making a King Cobra Mustang here. Very much like this is what we are rivaling. I just can't push that any further whatsoever. Can I do anything out here? If we put that richer, it just is running too rich. I don't know if we can get away with... No, we can't really get away with anything. I can't remember how... I should remember. One day I'll remember how to do all of the finite little details. So if I lean that off a little bit... No, I mean, it makes it a slight bit more efficient for 171 horsepower. But that's about it. Wow, we are really... well, this is the problem here at the end of the day. The pistons cannot take... I haven't even put that down, quality. Hold on. Quality elsewhere's far too high. Bugger. Compression, could we... I mean, we've not actually lost too much power in all of that, which is saying something. Now, can we... we get a little bit more there. Ignition time, we get to 62. I didn't fiddle around with the exhaust, which I guess might give us something somewhere, possibly. What happens if we go with a slightly better exhaust? Okay, I mean, we're spending a teensy bit more money, but we have got a little... We're at 182. I mean, 200 horsepower would be nice. And to be fair, I think on regular fuel, that doesn't really make any difference. Yeah, I would kind of like 200 horsepower if I could maybe sneak it without it. Oh, that's the same material costs. Yeah, I'll take that. So we could go injection, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's going to do really what we need. That was performance. It was twin. There we go. Guys, that RPM limit, that's our big problem. Although, actually, to be fair, we are dropping away regardless. We've got... such a garbage engine. It is such a garbage engine, but you know what? It's going to have to do. There we go. At least it's near 300 torque. That's something at 180 horsepower. Christ, what else can we do? Shall we give it a listen? I'm not expecting much out of this. Okay, I mean, that's what we got. That's what we have got to work with. That is what we're going to have to try and shove into this car. It is not going to be quick. I mean, my only hope here is that maybe, possibly, we can make the car quite light somehow. Although the engine's going to weigh a crap ton, which is not great. We're going to have to try. You know, some lightness might save it from being completely and utterly awful. We can't have the car. We're not going to run in the Fairways Industries orange because it's not. It's just too terrible. Sure, we'll go in dark blue. I wasn't messing around actually trying to get the colours sorted out, and this was just one of the ones that will be dark blue. It will be a pretend Fairway. It will be a non-official Fairways Industries car. Maybe this one we might actually finally get to use these lights on a car and make it look half decent. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case, but we can try, possibly. I mean, this is the sort of car that I would kind of expect them to maybe work on. Like that, and then we can potentially grab a grill of some... Should we go for a Kia grill? I'm not sure how this is going to look in the middle of this. We'll go for a classic Kia, sort of. You know, I don't horrendously dislike it. Something a little bit different, and then I guess we'll just go for... We'll keep the chrome. The chrome was a thing, right? Once upon a time, people liked chrome cars. I think I want that flipped vertically up there. We can kind of have that as a grille down at the bottom. The number plate can sit on the bumper bar. It's probably not... I mean, we're going to very, very loosely promote it as a sports car. Very loosely promoted as a sports car. I mean, we'll maybe not bother with door handles. No one's going to want to get in it. I'm hoping we can convince some some customers to buy the car. We'll pretend it's sporty in some way. I say pretend it's sporty. I mean, 185 horsepower is... what, like an MX-5 levels of... In fact, that's more power than you got in the early versions of the MX-5. Admittedly, the MX-5s did have a 1.8-litre engine and not a 5-litre V8 that weighs as much as a small planet. However, it's got a lot of torque. I'm not sure I'm convincing anybody about this car, I'll be honest. Is anybody currently watching convinced to buy one of these? I'm not really sure there's much way I can convince somebody to buy one of these, but there we go. Just gonna sit that in there. You know what? Let's go. I'll go for I always change up my style of the kind of tail lights of boots as we go along through these, just sort of trying different stuff. Going for kind of like a large. Well, I say large, sort of two large brake lights across the back. It's probably a little bit more modern than this car. I don't really care all that much, I will be honest. Exhaust. I think I said it on twin exhaust, didn't I? So let's get one of them. Actually, let's get that, and then of course remember to mirror it. There are two exhausts. I mean, it sort of looks sporty. Only kind of. Can we get... Well, one of these, this might be the first vehicle where a lip spoiler will work on the car. Maybe not make it so long, but it's not really as... I swear these things never quite work. I'm sure there is. I'm 100% sure there is a way to make these look good. I just don't know how to do it. And... oh, that's a tiny, tiny bit too far. Maybe like so. There we go. It's kind of got a lip spoiler. We'll bring those down. Kind of looks a little bit better with those down there, I think. And I might go for I do like having these at the front of the cars. Sometimes. They work on some cars. I do tend to just go for the massive one, but... not sure it works on this one particularly well. We'll keep it like this. Have we got everything done? Probably. No, we're not badging it. No, wait, we'll badge it. We'll be like an off-brand Fairrace Industries. There we go. Slightly derpy little owl. I think that is absolutely the way to go. Slightly derpy little owl for a slightly derpy looking car. Fantastic. Right. No, it's not actually a bad. I'm kind of quite pleased with how it looks. I'm kind of surprised, but I do like the Kia grille in the front there. It's not terrible looking. It's a terrible car, but it's not terrible looking. Okay, so longitudinal rear-wheel drive will be a manual car. Let's go for a 4-speed in keeping with. It reckons it will top out at 128 miles an hour. I mean, we'll give it a try at 128. I think that's ambitious, but you know, we'll give it a try. It's cheap, open diff. We will, I think we'd be on radial tyres by now. Of course, some nice chunky long life tyres. Probably not going to want, not chunky off-road, long life tyres, sorry. We're probably not going to want particularly large tyres. We'll try and keep it cheap. Currently got a Cass flopped upside down on my foot. Are you approved or disapproving? Or is this the cat of approval or the cat of what are you doing, you're a muppet? I'm not sure which. He's now wandered off, so... I think it's a cat of disapproval, I'm going to be honest here. Shall we let's get the rims a little bit offset in, because I made the wheel arches bigger, forgetting that I'm not really going to be doing much with the tyres on this car, because it's not going to be, it's cheaper to not bother. What should we do in terms of wheel style? Should we go for the full? Might just keep with the cheap sort of steelies. Sure, you know what? Doesn't deserve any more than that. That will do. I guess we'd probably have drums all round, wouldn't we? I'm hoping two is slightly better, because, you know, at the end of the day, we still want it to stop. We still got to try and somehow sell this car. I'm not 100% sure how, but we're going to have to try and sell this car. None of them. We will want some brake airflow going to the brakes, because I do want it to not overheat them instantly. Yeah, you know, we'll have a 5-seater. It'll be fairly basic. We'll be fairly basic in here, but maybe good enough. No power steering, no traction aids. There wasn't such a thing invented back then. There will be a little bit of safety equipment gone into the car. Standard, passive. Hey, it's a pony car. Can we set you up for comfort? Oh, apparently you were better off as a... Well, so comfort makes it much more comfortable. Still a fairly low comfort penalty. I mean, it's kind of a pony budget car. There is... Now, I have no doubt there is a way to tinker around with the suspension to get it a little bit closer to the categories that we want. What's wrong with it? The car's weight and lack of power steering. Ah, so maybe it wants to have some power steering, hydraulic. Oh wow, that actually makes it a proper pony car. We need some bigger brakes. We also need to the ride frequency. Hold on a second then. So ride frequency, was it saying it was low? Ride frequency is low. So no, sorry, it's not that. Is it that? So if we bring up the ride frequency and then try and even it out. I say even it out, make it a little bit better. Are we do it? That's just going in the wrong direction now, isn't it? Well, it's making it more drivable. It's making it slightly less sporty, but sure. I don't think I can change any of the cam, but I don't think we can do anything with that. I'm actually amazed that that is somehow 71% competitive in the pony car. It's almost budget, but it's still expensive. I'm considering the engine is total garbage. I'm amazed it's somehow still competitive, or somehow not as yeah, not in the budget section. But there we go. Front brake force is low. We've got to just have bigger. Maybe if we go for more aggressive brake pads, although that then does make it more expensive, or more. It's not really pads, is it, in this? It's shoes, is that the correct thing? If I remember my drum brakes right. Still not very good. Stiffen up the rear dampers, although this is then going to... Oh no, this is happied them slightly. The rear tyres are wide, apparently, as well. There we go. Perfect. We found the sweet spot. 77%, 78% competitive. It is pretty chod. However, that was the point. The point was to try and make the best worst car possible. It's got the giddying heights of 185 horsepower. It's 1,300 kilos, so I guess it's not too bad. Revs to 3,800 RPM. That is some impressive height. So in Gasmia, it is, yeah, like in Fruinia, it's almost spot on pony car. Arcana, it's a muscle car. God, I feel sorry. I do feel sorry for Arcana if they think that's a muscle car. What must their cars normally be like? It's pretty solid as a budget pony car in Hetvesia. I'm again probably pronouncing these wrong. And again, so this is very much the sort of pony car made for very little. Terrible emissions, 10 miles a gallon if you're careful. Costs just $4,000 to make. How slow is it around the Top Gear test track? I mean, the answer's going to be very. We're going to stick this on 5 times speed, and I still think it's going to take a while for it to get around here. Was it like 17, 18 minutes for Hammond to pedal the Porsche around here? Can we beat? That's basically what we're competing with. The wire had already finished as this goes through the follow-through, or the drive-through as it's called on here. It's a 40.5. That's not good. I can't remember the ties, but that's quicker than some of the styles went round in the Astra. Actually, it's quicker than the Formula 1 drivers went around in the Suzuki, wasn't it? I think they were in the 4. I don't remember. It's been a while. 0 to 60, 9 seconds. It does do a top speed, 126 miles an hour. Well, there we go. It is the best, worst car I could come up with. Now comes the real big question. Just how awful is it to drive in Beam? So, here we are with the vehicle in automation. It was so exquisite that the first time I tried driving forwards, the frame rate had an absolute wee. So, hopefully, this time when we drive, you can even see the witness marks. There was a little bit of wheel spin, amazingly, from the car. Oh, there we go. Hey, one tyre fire. That's an open diff for you. It is only that tyre that's going to go up. Oh, probably should have... Oh, what have I done? I've lost an exhaust already. Things went slightly broken. Well, don't worry about the exhaust. It's only a fixture. We're on the Jungle Rock Island map for a little bit of a drive with this one. Brakes. Oh, God. I did start at the observatory because I wanted to see what it's going to be like going down a hill. It's very oversteery. How have I managed that? We've only done... oh, there's not a reverse. I thought I had gone into reverse. Apparently not. Jeez. Oh, this is a mad vehicle. I say a mad vehicle. It's not great to drive. It's not great to drive. There was some gravity assistance as well. I was about to say it was going quicker than I thought it was. There's so little grip at the rear. I mean, it's quite a laugh to drive, I would imagine. You're not going very quickly, and it's surprisingly oversteer. It's quite a laugh, though, when it's not a near-death experience for you in the car. I mean, we've immediately... Ooh. We have immediately wrecked it. We've had the car for less than, well, just over 1,000 yards. And it has been binned slightly. Certainly not the rear style we would have liked. Okay, this thing is massively oversteery. Like, horrendously oversteery. There was very little grip. Like, performance-wise, it was never going to be great at 185 horsepower. The torque's quite nice. Other than that, I mean, can we get down this road at speed without spinning? That is the new test. How fast can we go? It reckons 128. I'm not sure. We're going to get 100. Well, let's face it, we're not going to get 128 down this sort of windy road. We're past 70 miles an hour. We're up to 80. We are still going, which is, you know, it could be worse on the old performance front. Oh, don't hit the tunnel, please. It's a little unsafe. I'll be honest. We're going to spin. I don't have much control over it. There's a ditch. Catch me, ditch. Thank you. Well caught. Come on. Out of the ditch we go. Okay, so I was just a little bit confused by the first gear. I think it's just the diff having one tyre fires that causes it a little bit of grief. It's like buzzing the limiter at sort of 25, despite not really looking like it's spinning the wheels, when I know that it can go up to about 40. That oversteer is awful. It really, really is very bad. I like how when if I'd had the bigger tyres that I had initially put on the rear, it would have been fine, but the game decided that this is how you sell... I mean, the game is dangerous. If this is the more competitive, the more desirable car... I mean, maybe they wanted very oversteery cars in 1975? This feels considerably more dangerous than I perhaps would have liked. It takes a while. It does get some sort of speed out of it. As I said, not much, but it does get some sort of speed out of the car. We're going to go for another big oversteer moment, aren't we? Not quite. No, now we are. Catch it. Oh, there's a dirt track. I was about to say I want to go see what it's like if we have to go on the rough stuff. Not that you'd ever take your budget sports car onto the rough stuff, but just in case you happened to ever need to, or you made a wrong turn and got stuck somewhere. Oh! Well, that's a fun coincidence. I was hoping we'd find somewhere to go and do a speed run with the car. Shall we go and see just how fast down the runway, plus there'll be a big crash at the end, so that'll be fun. How fast can it crack 100 miles an hour in the space of the runway? That is its goal here. That is its goal. And brake. I'm not even sure the brakes have enough braking power to lock the wheels up, because that was full on There is very much no ABS here, and it didn't lock. That's a concern. Just a minor one among many other concerns. Come on, we can do 100 miles an hour in our best worst car. I don't think we can do it. We'll do it, I have no doubt. It's can we do it in the space of this runway? The answer is it's almost, it's close, it's close. Oh, we need a gear shift. It's not going to do it. We've lost a wheel. We've lost another wheel. We've lost 3 wheels. I think we actually lost all of the wheels. Did we win the game? It looks like it. Can we just pull the car out of a tree? That would be good. Come on, your best worst car. Did you lose all of... Yeah, actually I can see on the little damage indicator, all of the wheels fell off. Is that the engine? No, that's just a bit of the frame. The engine is still in there somewhere. Right, hold on. Let's go and reset the car. I'm going to bring the car back down the runway. I want to get 100 out of it. Now, the only way we're going to do that is with a better... a bigger run-up. We're going to have to go for like a full-on flying start. Oh, we're not going to take that corner, though. Now, I know it's my car and I'm supposed to try and sell it to you. It's a tad dangerous. I still think this might be too dangerous even for Fairways Industries to... Actually, we're not going to be associated with it. It's terrible. So someone can sell it. And Fairways Industries are the ones who tried to sell a 213 mile an hour people carrier. This is just too dangerous. I don't know, even with this better run-up, I still think we're going to run out of airfields. But that was worse. It's worse because we had to change gear. And fly. And clonk. Hey, we kept more wheels on it that time. That's a bonus. Yeah, I'm sure it will do 128. It will just take it about a year to make it. So there we go. That was my attempt at the best worst car. I mean, according to automation, it actually, for 1975, fitted into the category of pony cars fairly well in some places. It was a muscle car. Poor Arcana. And then lack of sports vehicles. It's an interesting little thing. I'm sure I could probably get the engine a little bit better. I'm sure there's a way, something I could do with the engine. Get a little bit more in terms of power out of that one. Still, you know, it could be worse. 185 horsepower, some 200 or so torque. 4,000 RPM is you know, not a huge amount, but there we go. That is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.